Okay, so let's dive into this. When you think about futsal, the name Ricardinho.
It's huge.
Oh, absolutely. A total legend. 6-time best player in the world.
Right. Plus European champion, world champion with Portugal. They call him the magician.
And for good reason. I mean, many consider him the greatest to ever play. Just incredible skill.
Yeah, a true global icon of the sport. So here's the really surprising part. Quite jarring, actually, given who he is.
What's that?
He's come out publicly saying he's owed over €1 million.
€1 million by a former club.
Exactly. Unpaid to arguably the biggest name the sport has ever seen.
Wow. That definitely makes you stop and think, doesn't it? About what's really going on behind the scenes financially.
It does. It forces you to look beyond the trophies and the highlights.
All right.
And that's really our mission here. Using the sources we've got, let's unpack this situation with Ricardinho.
Yeah, and see what it tells them. Professional futsal. Okay, so the club at the center of this is ACCS Paris.
Ah, yes, the French project. Ricardinho joined them back in June 2020. Big move from Spain.
Big move, big ambitions. The sources say they wanted to build, like, Futsal Galacticos.
Yeah, attracting top stars.
Yeah.
But this is where the numbers get.
Well, worrying.
Tell me about it. His reported salary. Much more than €1 million over 3 years.
Okay, huge money for futsal.
Huge. But then the club's total stated budget, over €500,000 annually.
Wait, hang on. How does that work? His 3-year deal is more than double their entire yearly budget.
Exactly. That screams red flag immediately, doesn't it? Seems like a really fragile setup.
Hitting the house on future success, maybe. Very risky.
Well, the sources suggest it all came crashing down pretty fast.
Oh, fast.
Just a year later, June 2021, ACCS gets administratively relegated.
Relegated by the French Football Federation.
Yep. The official reason given was administrative issues. Basically, financial trouble. Bankruptcy followed. Okay, so the dream imploded. But the former club president, Sami Salami, he had a different take, right?
He did. He didn't deny the issues, but he pointed fingers elsewhere. He blamed the pandemic, the health crisis, for hitting revenues hard.
Okay, understandable to a point. What else?
He also heavily criticized the French Federation, said they didn't support futsal financially like football, hit them with fines, and he even called the whole financial control process a witch hunt, arguing French D1 futsal didn't have the same strict financial rules as pro football.
So it's a bit of a blame game. Yeah. Federation says rules weren't followed. President says unfair treatment and external factors.
Pretty much. But whatever the cause, the result was the club collapsed, and players like Ricardinho were left owed significant money.
And that's when he tried to get help?
Yes. He stated publicly, quite clearly, neither FIFA nor the Federation paid attention. Said he knocked on several doors and no one helped me.
That's tough to hear, especially when you think there are systems in place for this.
Right. The sources mentioned them. FIFA's dispute resolution chamber, national bodies.
And isn't there that FIFA fund for players, the FFP?
There is, yeah. It's meant as a safety net, a last resort when clubs go bust.
So the mechanisms exist on paper, but Ricardinho is saying they didn't work for him.
It seems that way, or at least they were incredibly difficult or insufficient. Trying to claim €1 million from a bankrupt club, that's a huge challenge.
And even that FIFA fund, it might not cover the whole amount, especially something that large, right? It's a last resort, not necessarily full compensation.
Exactly. And look, this isn't just about Ricardinho. The sources highlight a FIFPro report.
Yeah, I saw that. Pretty sobering stuff. Almost half of players surveyed had salary delays.
Almost half. And over 45% earning less than $1,000 a month.
It shows this isn't an isolated issue. Ricardinho's case is massive because of who he is, but financial instability seems widespread.
Definitely. That Marcela Soares case mentioned in the sources, facing hardship over smaller sums. It shows the precarity many players face.
So what's Ricardinho doing now, besides trying to get his money?
He's using his platform. The magician is stepping up off the court.
How so?
By speaking out so publicly, he's pushing for better conditions and greater professionalism across the whole sport.
Okay, so turning his own really negative experience into advocacy.
Exactly. His case becomes a catalyst, shining a light on these problems, maybe encouraging others to speak up too.
And hopefully putting pressure on FIFA, the federations, to actually make the player protection systems work better in practice.
Right, because what this whole story shows is this paradox.
The biggest star in the game facing this level of financial insecurity.
Precisely. It highlights a major gap between the rules that exist and the actual practical protection for players.
It proved having rules isn't enough if they aren't effectively enforced or accessible when things go wrong.
So here's something for you, the listener, to think about.
If Ricardinho, the best player in the world, can be left chasing €1 million debt with apparently nowhere effective to turn,
what does that really say about the financial safety net for the thousands of other futsal players out there, the ones without his profile?
it's a really crucial question for the future health and professionalism of the sport.